Hey, what's up? This is the BBN. This is Jack Frost speaking. And today, we bring you the hardwood. And, okay, so basically, I'm consistently hearing how the Knicks lose due to Carmelo Anthony. Okay, before I talk about anything else, I just want to point something out. At the end of the year, Carmelo Anthony is averaging 27 points, 3 assists, 6 rebounds, shooting over 50% from the field and from the three. All right, last 6 games. Now, with that being said, the Knicks had a winning record. A winning record. The Knicks was doing really, really well. To for being in the East until the Zen Master, Phil Jackson, had decided that he was gonna talk negatively about the team leader, about the best player on the team. Okay, let's go back a little bit further though. Let's go back a couple of years ago. Um, you got to understand what Carmelo Anthony is. Carmelo Anthony isn't one of those players that he's going to tell guys to be in this spot, guys to be in that spot. He's going to necessarily direct traffic. Not that he can't. I'm just saying that that's not his strength. Carmelo Anthony's strength is getting the rock and then killing the guy in front of him. Carmelo Anthony's strength is getting the rock and forcing the double team to come so a man is open. Carmelo Anthony's strength is if the game is close at the end of the game, you give him the rock, he's going to get you a bucket or he's going to get to the free throw line. These are his strengths. He's an elite scorer. Now, I'm just going to break it down for you for 1 second. For everybody that, I know I got a couple of people that might look at this and they play 2K. So I'm going to break it down for you. You guys want, when the game to be on the line, Carmelo Anthony to pass it to a rim protector who's standing on the three-point line. That makes no sense. You guys, when the game is on the line, want Carmelo Anthony to pass it under the basket to a 6-foot point guard who has a 6'7" guy currently on him, and the point guard is a playmaker. These are the complaints that I hear. Or why didn't he pass? You don't pass it into a worse situation. You just don't do that. Okay, so let's go back a little ways. A couple of years ago when Carmelo Anthony had veterans on his team, the Knicks went to the playoffs. They played pretty well. They got victories. They were a tough team. The only thing that really hurt the Knicks was the veterans in which they had broke down by the time the playoffs started. That's it. They just physically couldn't put up with the toll of an 82-point game. It was not Carmelo Anthony's fault. I know he's going to get the blame because you got people that just want to give him the blame. But it wasn't Carmelo Anthony's fault. The players on his team broke down because physically they couldn't put up with the stress of an 82 game season. So now we're going into the next year. I, for one, don't want Carmelo Anthony to opt out. I want Carmelo Anthony to force James Dolan's hand. I want him to force his hand. I personally want to see the Zen Master out of here. Because when your team is doing well, you don't talk trash about them. Now, there's a difference between saying, look, we're not going to be able to win consistently playing like this, and we have to tweak it, and we have to change it, and we have to improve, and we got to do a couple of things different. There's one thing to say that. It's totally different to say, oh man, this guy's killing us. That guy's killing us. These guys suck. That guy suck. The reason in which why we lost is because that guy is doing that thing. When that guy is doing that thing on other days is the reason why we win. Now, I'm going to explain a little bit about one-on-one basketball because it seems that there's a ton of people, especially on Twitter, that I'm just assuming they never really had the requisite skill to be one of the better players, one of the better offensive players on the court. So they don't understand what clearing out is. What clearing out basically is you have a whole bunch of action happening. You throw it to the guy who has the mismatch, and then the players on his team move out of the way so he could get the one-on-one, and it's going to make it difficult for a double team to come. Now, when Melo does this, people bash Melo for holding the ball. He's not stopping the ball. Melo has whoever is on Melo is a mismatch. He has a 100% of the time Melo is on the floor, there is a mismatch. Either the guy's too big and slow, or the guy is too small, and even the guy might be fast enough, but he's too small. He's not strong enough. Or the guy might be strong enough, but he's too slow-footed and he can't keep up. Carmelo Anthony, more than any other player in the league, has a mismatch more than any other player in the league. Now, with that being said, he doesn't have the immediate burst of speed like a Westbrook, but if you put Westbrook in the post and you get a big guard, a big strong guard on Westbrook, Westbrook is going to be able to be stopped. Now, Westbrook takes that guy to the outside, Westbrook is going to kill him. But if you put Melo in the post on a big strong guy, he's probably still going to score. If you put Melo on the perimeter with a quick guy, he's going to probably still score. Carmelo Anthony is the biggest mismatch in the NBA currently. Are there people that are close? Durant. But Durant's weak. If you lean on him a little, it's a problem. LeBron James, if his jump shot isn't working and you sag off of him enough, the double team could come and then there's a problem. He has to hope the refs bail him out. Carmelo Anthony is not the fault of the Knicks losing. The Knicks don't play good enough defense, and that's a team thing, so that's a coach thing. When you have an entirety of a team, the entire team lacking at any end of the court, it's coaching. It's also will. Don't get me wrong. You have to have the want. You have to have the want, but it's coaching or lack thereof. So for all of you Melo haters and for all of you people saying, I wish Melo was gone, I can't wait for them to trade Melo. Hopefully Melo will get up off that no trade. Hopefully he opt out. Well, he can't opt out, but hopefully he get up off that no trade agreement or whatever the hell. You're idiots. You know how long it takes to rebuild? Rebuilding is not a 2-year process. Okay, we have a couple of teams that lucked out because the NBA helped them. Don't get it wrong. The NBA helped Isaiah Thomas get moved to the Celtics. Isaiah Thomas is a really good player. And he's a good guy. Isaiah Thomas is a good guy. He's not a problem in the freaking he's not a problem. He doesn't come to your team and cause for players to not be uncoachable. He's coachable. I don't understand how any coach wouldn't want him, but yet Sacramento drafted him. They traded him to Phoenix, and then Phoenix traded him to Boston. He's coachable, and he's a really good player. People gotta look and see what's happening some of the times. Like I always am consistently trying to tell people, the NBA is not it doesn't work like the NFL, where the NFL sells its product. The NBA sells individual players, individuals. And on top of all of the facts that Boston, who absolutely should not have been in the Eastern Conference Finals, at all. Boston, who absolutely should not have been in the Eastern Conference Finals at all. Now, also, in addition, have the number one pick for next year. I mean, people could say whatever they want, but it's obvious that the NFL props certain teams up to be successful while they move other teams out of the line. Like the Knicks is the franchise that's worth the most in the NBA, partly because they own their arena. They own the Dolan's own Madison Square Garden. So Madison Square Garden and the Knicks is a bundle. So Madison Square Garden and the Knicks together, they basically that's why the organization is worth more than all other NBA organizations. Individually, not together, obviously. Next is after that is the Lakers. The Lakers do not own Staples. The people that the Buss family does not own Staples. So how could the Knicks be fixed? Easy. One, I believe that, like I said, playing defense or just playing together it's a want thing, and it's obvious that at times the Knicks have lapses where certain players decide whatever the hell that they're deciding, and they just don't have that same vigor. And I think that they need a coaching change, and I think it should either be Mark Jackson or Jeff Van Gundy. Period. Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy can change the atmosphere enough to get the players to play, and will. The Knicks lost like 15 games last year or something, some number like that, some ridiculous number, by 2 points or less, by 3 points or less. That's coaching. That's not one player's fault. That is coaching. When you're losing that many games by 2 or 3 points or 4 points, that's coaching. Period. We're getting out-coached. Some people like to say the reason in which why the coaching problem exists is because the Zen master is busy sticking his fingers in the cake before it's done. But I personally don't think that Jeff Hornacek is such a great coach. I don't think he's a bad coach. He has some good motion offenses that I think that if he was able to implement them rather than being forced to play the triangle, that the Knicks would be able to be more successful. Don't get me wrong. But I think that a New York team needs to focus on defense and focus on getting stops. And in a situation like that, we need a Jeff Van Gundy or Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson, I'm one that believes that the Warriors wouldn't be where they're at right now if Mark Jackson didn't build them up. We need to get a coach like that to come to the Knicks and build them up. Then we see where we at in 2 years. We see where we at in 2 years. Maybe he could build us up but can't get us over the threshold. Cross the threshold. He built us up, but he can't get us over that line. Then we see what we do then. But we need a coach that could come here and build us up. We got one of the best scorers in NBA history, in the history of the NBA, in their prime. Or at the end of their prime. We have Kristaps Porzingis, who with a little bit of tweaking, and if he get a little bit more nastiness in him, and obviously put on a little bit more weight, he's going to be something that the league ain't never seen. We have, and I think getting a coach like Jeff Van Gundy or Mark Jackson, I think the player who's going to benefit the most might be Willie Hernangomez. I think he would benefit the most because he looks so coachable. I think that he would be like a Klay Thompson, but at the big man, because Klay Thompson is retardedly coachable. Klay Thompson is just coachable. That's Klay Thompson's superpower. It's not his ability to shoot. That isn't what separates him from the other shooters in the league. The thing that separates Klay is his ability to be coached. The thing that separates Steph Curry is his ability to be coached. I think that Willie Hernangomez has that same ability to be coached. That's all I got for you. And I left the stats up there because I keep hearing how Melo's the fault. He ain't the fault. Ain't even close.